Are there certain members in opposition parties in India who perhaps would be prone to such influence from abroad?
Well, I would put it to you differently. I think we have seen, not now, for some time now, some years now, some parts of the opposition who consciously go out of India, badmouth the country, run it down in different ways. Look, I have no problem if it is politics, you and I are competing. I'm not going to say nice things about you, okay? I mean, that's natural. But I don't have to run down the whole system. I don't have to say, the country is falling apart, all institutions are have given way, there is no checks and balances. I mean, when you say constitution is in danger, I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, this constitution from 1950 has lasted us 74 years, and to me, it is something which for most sensible people is the cornerstone of how we built a polity. I mean, if in fact anybody has messed with the constitution, it's actually the Congress party. I mean, of the 105-6 odd amendments, probably 80% of them are theirs. But yet, see, this whole thing, constitution is in danger, election system is questionable, they've called courts, you've had criticism of the courts. So, I would say I have no issues if people, personally, I don't take my politics outside the country. Whenever I go out, people ask me political questions, I say, please come home, I'll be happy to talk to you. I don't do politics outside. But let's assume your standards are less exacting than mine. I don't even, mind, or maybe not mind that much, saying, okay, do some political point scoring, but don't run down the country outside, because then you are actually damaging something much bigger. And for what purpose?
So, if a Rahul Gandhi goes to Harvard or goes to Cambridge and says these things, which you just mentioned, is it because he's being misguided, he's being misinformed? Is it his advisors are all over the place? So, where's it coming from?
Look, I can't answer that. Only he can answer it. I mean, we today, to my mind, some of it I can only guess is a sentiment which comes from lack of success or traction at home. And then you feel, okay, let me go out, and there'll be like-minded people out there who are more likely to buy into this and support it. So I will set, if my domestic narrative is not catching on, I now try to set an international narrative in the hope that the domestic narrative will pick up on it. So, I mean, some of it is that, but some of it I think is a genuine belief. I mean, look, you mentioned his visit to Cambridge. I think all Indians, I would advise Indians to go and listen to his lectures. You should see the admiration for China in that lecture. It comes through repeatedly. He will never criticize Belt and Road. I mean, a Belt and Road which violates our sovereignty. So outside, he will praise China, but at home, he will pretend to take very nationalistic positions. So some of it, I think, is frustration. Some of it, I think, is, the belief that external narratives will help him. And some of it, I think, is actually his genuine admiration, which in their case is an ideological admiration going back to Nehru, which is coming up.
Ideological admiration for China. Has he spoken to you on China? I remember one time he was in a committee meeting, he was mentioning some things. What was the advice or his understanding of China?
We've had a few conversations. He, of course, also gave a public comment that there were shortcomings in my understanding of China. And now I just happen to be the guy who spent 4.5 years there as ambassador, but apparently that doesn't matter. So he clearly fancies himself as someone who's steeped in understanding of China. But when you look at some of the things he says, I mean, what else can I say but God bless him?